It was a warm Saturday afternoon in a busy parking lot just outside of Tully's grocery store in Grantville. Alana Foster and her 12-year-old daughter, Maya, had just finished their grocery shopping. Alana, a strong-willed and kind-hearted woman in her 30s, had lived in Grantville for a few years and was known to keep to herself, always gentle and respectful. She never expected to encounter trouble, especially not here. As Alana and Maya loaded their groceries into the trunk, a police car rolled up beside them. The officer, a middle-aged man named Officer Hank Riker, stepped out. Hank was known around town, but not in a good way. He had a reputation for making life difficult for people who didn't look like him, especially folks of color. Hank approached Alana with a scowl. "Ma'am," he started in a harsh tone, "what are you doing here?" Alana blinked, surprised by his tone. "Just shopping," she replied calmly, nodding toward the bags in her trunk. But Officer Hank wasn't interested in explanations. "I need to see your ID." "You're looking suspicious," he snapped. Alana glanced at her daughter, sensing Maya's fear. She felt her patience thinning but maintained her composure. "I'm not doing anything wrong, officer. We just bought groceries." Hank's face turned red, clearly annoyed by her response. Without warning, he reached out, grabbing her arm tightly. "I said, show me your ID." Maya, seeing her mother in distress, pulled out her phone and started recording. Alana noticed but didn't object. She knew it was best to have everything documented, just in case. Maya's hands shook as she held the phone, her eyes wide with worry. A few people nearby noticed the commotion and stopped to watch. Some of them started recording too, sensing something wasn't right. But Hank didn't like being watched. His grip on Alana's arm tightened, and he shoved her back against the car. "Stop resisting," he barked, even though she wasn't resisting at all. Alana's instincts kicked in. What Hank didn't know was that she held a black belt in karate, a skill she had trained in for years. Her body was strong, and her mind was sharp. As Hank's hold became more aggressive, she knew she had to protect herself. "Let go of me," Alana warned, her voice steady but firm. But Hank only sneered. "You think you're tough? You people never know when to stay quiet." The word stung, and that was the final straw. Alana twisted her arm free from his grip with a swift motion that caught him off guard. Hank stumbled back, momentarily shocked. But before he could react, Alana took a defensive stance, her training kicking in. The crowd around them grew, phones held high, everyone recording. Some whispered to each other, shocked by the confrontation but eager to see how it would unfold. Hank, now visibly angry and embarrassed, lunged toward Alana, thinking he could overpower her easily. But he didn't realize who he was dealing with. Alana, remembering her training, stayed focused, her eyes steady and her feet grounded. As Hank charged, Alana sidestepped, using her hand to redirect his momentum. He stumbled, catching himself just in time, but his frustration was growing. "You're gonna regret this," he spat, his face flushed with anger. Alana took a deep breath, keeping her voice calm. "I'm just defending myself, officer. Please stop." But Hank was beyond reason. He reached for his baton, ready to intimidate her into submission. The crowd gasped as he raised it, a dangerous look in his eyes. Maya's heart pounded as she continued to record, trying her best not to cry. Seeing the baton, Alana knew she had no choice but to defend herself fully. As Hank swung it, she quickly ducked and swept his legs out from under him, causing him to crash onto the ground. He scrambled up, his pride hurt more than his body, and he swung again. But Alana blocked his attempt, her movements swift and precise. Every time Hank tried to strike, Alana countered with a move that left him off balance and humiliated. The onlookers couldn't believe what they were witnessing, a single mother standing up to a cop who had clearly crossed the line. Some in the crowd began cheering, voices rising in support of Alana. Realizing he was outmatched, Hank hesitated, his expression changing from anger to fear. But it was too late. Alana had gained the upper hand. In one final move, she disarmed him of his baton, tossing it far out of his reach. Hank lay on the ground, panting and defeated. The crowd was silent, stunned by the swift turn of events. Maya stopped recording, clutching her phone tightly. Alana stood over the officer, breathing heavily but composed, her face calm as ever. "Are you done?" she asked him firmly, her voice carrying strength but no anger. Hank didn't reply. He couldn't look her in the eye. By now, more police cars had arrived. Officers stepped out, looking from Hank, sprawled on the ground, to Alana, standing strong with her daughter by her side. One of the officers, Sergeant Brooks, approached cautiously. "Ma'am, can you explain what happened here?" Alana took a deep breath, recounting the events calmly, her words supported by the crowd's murmurs and the many videos people had taken. Maya handed her phone to Sergeant Brooks, showing him the recording of the entire encounter. The sergeant reviewed the footage, his face shifting from skepticism to understanding. It was clear from the videos that Hank had been the aggressor, while Alana had only defended herself. "Thank you, ma'am," Sergeant Brooks said, nodding respectfully. He turned to Hank, who was now sitting up, a look of humiliation on his face. "Officer Riker, you're under investigation for misconduct," Brooks stated firmly. Hank's face fell as he was escorted to a patrol car, his career now hanging by a thread. As the crowd began to disperse, a few people came up to Alana, thanking her for standing up for herself and for setting an example for her daughter. Maya hugged her mother tightly, relief washing over her as the ordeal finally ended. In the days that followed, Alana became somewhat of a local hero. Her story spread throughout Grantville, a reminder to everyone that justice could be served, even when the odds seemed stacked against you. And as for Hank, he faced disciplinary action and was eventually removed from the force. Alana never intended to become a symbol of resilience, but her courage that day left a mark on everyone who witnessed it. This brings us to the end of the story. Thank you for watching till the end. I hope you enjoyed the story. If you did, don't hesitate to like the video and share it with your friends too. Subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell for more fascinating stories. Have a nice day.